To a top story this morning, days after ninth round of talks between farmers and centre failed to yield breakthrough, farmer leaders are going to be holding an internal meeting to chalk out their next move. The internal meeting is coming in the backdrop of ninth round of talks with the centre on Friday, wherein the government proposed forming an informal group with members from both sides. Centre is, while urging farm unions to take legal route, made it absolutely clear it will not roll back the 3 farm laws until the Supreme Court deems the law illegal. However, farmers remain adamant on their demand of withdrawal of laws and have refused to take the legal route, terming it a long process. The next round of talks between them are slated to take place 15th of January. West Bengal Governor Jagdeep Dhankar slammed the state administration while addressing the media after meeting Home Minister Shah yesterday. West Bengal Governor raised serious security concerns, saying that terror group Al-Qaeda is deepening its grip in Bengal and that the making of illegal bombs is rampant. Warning against the threat to security, the governor has said that the position of DGP in West Bengal was an open secret and reiterated its stand that the state has a politically motivated police. He added that the rights of the voters of Bengal are being compromised due to the violence involved in polls. Remember, a month ago, during the attack on BJP President's convoy, Governor Dhankar called out the state administration for its alleged inefficacy.
सिक्योरिटी एनवायरनमेंट कितना खतरे में है, ये सार्वजनिक है। अल-कायदा ने पांव पसार लिए हैं। इलीगल बॉम्ब मेकिंग इज रैम्पेंट। पश्चिम बंगाल के अंदर डायरेक्टर जनरल ऑफ पुलिस की क्या पोजीशन है, ये ओपन सीक्रेट है। उनके ऊपर किन किन का क्या बोसिज्म है। इसीलिए बार बार मैं कहता हूं, वी आर हैविंग पॉलिटिकल पुलिस।
One stone and 2 birds. BJP's mega farmer outreach in Bengal stands true to the saying. As head of the state assembly elections, JP Nadda in Bengal kickstarted Saffron Party's Ek Mutho Chal campaign to collect the grains from farmer families across the state for Krishi Bhoj. Here's more.
BJP President JP Nadda in West Bengal again. His first visit since his convoy was attacked nearly a month ago. Nadda's mission this time to woo farmers ahead of the state assembly polls scheduled later this year. The Saffron Party chief became the flag bearer of the party's Ek Mutho Chal campaign in Bardhaman district on Saturday. He collected a handful of rice and had lunch at a farmer's house as part of the BJP's mega farmer outreach plan.
हमारी सरकार जब आती है तो हम किसानों को यहाँ न्याय दिलाएंगे, किसान सम्मान निधि दिलाएंगे, तो फसल बीमा योजना ठीक से लागू हो इसकी कोशिश करेंगे और साथ ही साथ किसान को उपज का सही दाम मिल सके, इन सब चीज़ों को करेंगे।
The BJP has set its target to approach 74 lakh farmers across 48,000 villages in 23 districts of Bengal. During the campaign, BJP workers will go door to door till the 24th of January seeking alms from farmers' families. The collected grain will then be utilized to prepare meals at community kitchens for farmers and the poor between 24th to 31st January. Addressing a rally in Katwa, Nadda once again attacked Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee and accused her of blocking central schemes aimed to benefit farmers.
जी ने वो एक उदासीन रवैया अपनाया है। प्रधानमंत्री किसान सम्मान निधि लागू नहीं की, रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं किया, रजिस्ट्रेशन की संख्या नहीं बताई। लगभग 76 लाख किसान ऐसे बताए जाते हैं जिनको किसान सम्मान निधि मिलना था।
The BJP president said that if voted to power in the state, the party's schemes will benefit 70 lakh Bengal farmers. At a time when centre is trying to break the deadlock in Delhi with protesting farmers, Nadda reiterated that the new farm laws benefit farmers.
जब से मोदी जी प्रधानमंत्री बने हैं, किसानों के लिए और कृषि के लिए केंद्र सरकार ने 6 गुना बजट बढ़ा दिया है, 6 गुना।
And this led to a war of words between the TMC and the BJP over which party really stands for farmers.
उनको यहाँ करना चाहिए था, वो दिल्ली जाकर के कर रहे हैं। ये इनका विरोधाभास है। पहली बात, जो इनको किसानों को यहाँ न्याय दिलाना चाहिए था वो दिलाया नहीं, और ये वहाँ जा कर के आंदोलन कर रहे हैं।
সময় নষ্ট না করে দয়া করে দিল্লিতে 3 গুণ হয়েছে, আর ভারতবর্ষে কৃষকদের আয় দ্বিগুণ হতে, যেটা মোদি প্রতিশ্রুতি দিয়েছিলেন 2028 সাল অবধি লাগবে। এখানে কৃষকদের নিয়ে মহাভোজ না করে ওরা দিল্লির বর্ডারে যান না।
Nadda began his Bengal visit by offering prayers at the Radha Gobindu Mandir in Katwa and also held a roadshow during his day-long visit.
Amidst all the controversies that the central government has been mired in with the farmers and their protests across Delhi and surrounding areas, in Bengal, BJP is making an outreach to the maximum number of farmers possible in the best possible way. And what could be better than sharing the wealth of the farmers with some pride? With camera person Tapas Berry, this is Manogya Lohiwal in Katwa, Bardhaman for India Today.
India is all set to start the world's biggest vaccination drive from 16th of January. Healthcare workers and frontline workers are going to be the priority as the vaccine rollout begins next week. Prime Minister Modi took to Twitter to state that the vaccination drive is going to be marking a landmark step in the fight for COVID. Here's a look.
India's wait for vaccine shots is all set to end. The Modi government on Saturday announced that the world's biggest immunization drive will start from the 16th of January. Around 1 crore healthcare and 2 crore frontline workers will get priority as the vaccine rollout is all set to begin next week. Next in line to get the vaccine shots will be those above 50 years of age, and then those under 50 but suffering from comorbidities, together numbering around 27 crore.
Relief, of course, is that finally vaccines are available across the nation, and that's a tremendous thing. The concern, of course, is this is a monumental campaign, nothing like it has ever been seen in the history of mankind in terms of the speed with which it will be implemented. On the other hand, we should be confident because we have successfully conducted 2 major vaccination campaigns.
The decision of mega vaccine rollout was taken at a high-level meeting chaired by the Prime Minister, where he reviewed the status of COVID-19 and vaccine preparedness across the states and union territories. Minutes after the big announcement, Prime Minister Modi tweeted saying that on January 16, India will be taking a landmark step towards its fight against COVID-19. India had recently granted emergency use authorization to 2 vaccines, Oxford's Covishield being manufactured by Serum Institute of India and Bharat Biotech's Covaxin. 3 phases of dry runs have been conducted across the country, with the 3rd dry run conducted on Friday across 615 districts in 33 states and union territories. A unique digital platform called CoWIN Vaccine Delivery Management System has also been put in place. It will provide real-time information of vaccine stocks, their storage temperature, and individualized tracking of beneficiaries.
India is ready now to kickstart its vaccination drive from 16th January. That's what the government has announced, to vaccinate 3 crore priority groups, 1 crore healthcare workers, 2 crore frontline and essential workers, post which the 27 crore people who are elderly will also be vaccinated. India has got approval for 2 vaccines, Covishield and Covaxin, and therefore the D-Day is finally upon us. With Ajay Thakur, this is Milan Sharma for India Today.
With resumption of passenger flights from UK to India, first flight to Bengaluru landed from UK earlier today. The flight inbound to Bengaluru carrying 300 to 350 passengers landed about 4 a.m. Earlier, Karnataka Health Minister Sudhakar visited the airport and took stock of arrangements for screening the passengers. All the incoming passengers arriving from UK have to undergo mandatory RT-PCR test at the airport. This despite having a negative report. Passengers testing positive will be sent to institutional quarantine. Remember, India suspended all the passenger flights to the UK from 23rd of December till 7th January due to new UK COVID variant strain. The rift widens between Maharashtra allies Congress and Shiv Sena over renaming Aurangabad to Sambhaji Nagar. As both the allies spar over the name change, BJP jumps in, calls it a political gimmick. Here's a complete report.
War of words within Maharashtra allies Shiv Sena and Congress intensifies. This time, it's over renaming Aurangabad. Rift between the allies erupted after Uddhav government used the name Sambhaji Nagar instead of Aurangabad in an official government document. Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena, who for long has batted for name change, even wrote to Union Minister Hardeep Puri to rename Aurangabad Airport to Sambhaji Maharaj Airport. This has irked their ally Congress. Expressing their displeasure, Congress reminded Shiv Sena that changing names was not part of Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi's Common Minimum Program.
कॉमन मिनिमम प्रोग्राम जो है उसमें ये नामांतर नहीं है, किसी सिटी का नामांतर करने का कोई उसमें नहीं है। तो हमारा हमेशा ऐसे नामांतर को विरोध कांग्रेस का रहा है और किमान समान कार्यक्रम जो हमारा है उसमें ये अंतर्भुक्त नहीं।
CM Uddhav Thackeray was quick to hit back.
मग त्याच्यात नवीन काय केले मी? नवीन काय केले? जे वर्षानुवर्ष बोलत आलेले जे स्वतः शिवसेना प्रमुखांनी तेच केले आणि तेच मी करणार. एकत्र एक गोष्ट अशी औरंगजेब काय सेक्युलर नव्हता. त्याच्यामुळे आमच्या अजेंडामध्ये सेक्युलर हा जो शब्द आहे त्याच्यात औरंगजेब बसत नाही.
Amid fissures between allies, BJP jumped in calling it a political gimmick by Shiv Sena.
यहाँ के जो बीजेपी के नेता हैं वो हमें बहुत बड़ा ज्ञान दे रहे हैं। ये जो मराठवाड़ा में जो औरंगाबाद है उनका संभाजी नगर क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, लेकिन आज जो हम औरंगाबाद को संभाजी नगर बोल रहे हैं वो तो बाला साहब ठाकरे जी ने किया है।
सवाल ये उठता है कि अब ये संभाजी नगर नाम आधिकारिक तौर पे महाराष्ट्र की सरकार कब निश्चित करती है। कारण यह है कि अभी भी कांग्रेस के नेता और कांग्रेस पार्टी इस नाम को विरोध कर रही है। क्या शिवसेना की नौटंकी है?
The tension is increasing and the rift is widening between the Congress and its alliance partner Shiv Sena in Maharashtra. While on one hand, Congress state president himself has made it very clear that they are going to abide by the common minimum program. But on the other hand, Shiv Sena seems to have made this a prestige issue, and everyone in the party, including the Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray himself, has made the intentions absolutely clear. In the days to come, this is bound to become a hot political issue in Maharashtra. With camera person Mahesh More, this is Pankaj Upadhyay in Mumbai, reporting for India Today.
10 infants died in a fire in a government hospital in Maharashtra's Bhandara in a case of alleged gross medical negligence. Chief Minister Thackeray will visit Bhandara today at noon and meet parents of deceased infants. Here's a look.
Was it gross medical negligence or simply medical apathy that led to the deaths of at least 10 newborn babies in a fire at a government hospital in Maharashtra's Bhandara? Local administration are still unearthing what caused the fire.
इसमें विस्तार से जांच की जाएगी, टेक्निकल कमेटी भी इसको देखेगी, जिससे ये पता चल पाएगी कि आग क्यों लगी और प्रशासनिक जांच भी की जाएगी.
Hospital staff say they did their best to save as many infants as they could.
वहाँ पे वो दरवाज़ा तोड़ दिया हमने, खिड़की वड़की सब फोड़ दिए। तो फोड़ने के बाद में हम अंदर चले गए। अंदर जाने के बाद में जो बच्चे थे उनको पहले रूम में जो थे उनको बाहर निकाले। जो रूम में आग लगी थी वहाँ पे फिर अंदर घुस गए और जो बच्चे ने डेथ हो गई थी वो सबको एक एक करके हमने वो फिर बाहर निकाल दिए.
But dealing with the loss of innocent lives, the parents and families of the infants are alleging negligence by the hospital.
जो है हमारे इतने बच्चे हैं भाई लोग के मेले, तो वो डॉक्टर लोग जब होते होना पे तो वो कौन नहीं मरे है? उनको तो मरने को होना था. लापरवाही है, पूरी लापरवाही है.
यहाँ पे स्टाफ यहाँ पे अवेलेबल नहीं, यहाँ पे लापरवाही इतनी ज्यादा हमेशा से लापरवाही होती है, कोरोना काल में भी लापरवाही.
Facing heat, Uddhav Thackeray government has now ordered a probe, promising to punish the culprits.
भंडारा में जो दुर्घटना घटी है जी, बहुत ही दुखद और दिल दहलाने वाली ऐसी घटना है जी. उसकी पूरी जांच की जाएगी जी, और जो भी दोषी है उसकी पर सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई की जाएगी.
यहाँ पर ये घटना स्थल पर कलेक्टर, एसपी, हमारे डिप्टी डायरेक्टर, सिविल सर्जन सभी लोग रात को 1:30 बजे 2 बजे के बाद अभी तक काम कर रहे हैं और पोस्टमार्टम न करते हुए बॉडीज को फैमिली के ताबे में देने के लिए वहाँ पर हमने आदेश जारी किया है.
Political blame game has already started over the tragedy.
पूरे महाराष्ट्र में ऐसे जितने हमारे हॉस्पिटल है उसका तुरंत फायर सेफ्टी ऑडिट होना चाहिए और उसमें जो कमियां उसको पूरा किया जाना चाहिए ताकि ऐसी घटना न हो. जो बच्चे मरे हैं अब उनको तो हम वापस नहीं ला सकते, वो तो बड़ा दुर्दैवी है, लेकिन उनके परिवारों को 10 लाख रुपए का मुआवजा सरकार की ओर से दिया जाए, ऐसी मेरी मांग है.
But the question is, who will be held accountable for the lives which were so brutally cut short?
On ground zero, the situation is that these villagers allege that the doctors in the civil hospital are completely irresponsive to their duties and responsibility, with the end result, they are nowhere to be found when the need is. They ask, such being the state on ground zero, can ever change be brought about as has been promised by the various ministers that visited this area? With camera person Mahesh More, this is Pankaj Upadhyay in Bhandara, reporting for India Today.
DMK Youth Wing Secretary and MK Stalin's son, Udayanidhi Stalin, remains defiant after his objectionable remarks against EPS. He had recently mocked Tamil Nadu Chief Minister, saying he fell at Sashikala's feet like a dead body to seek the Chief Minister's post. Here's more.
உன்னை கீழ இருந்து எடுபடி கிடையாது, டெட் பாடி பாடியா. ஏன்னா அவர் அப்படிதான் விழுந்து கிடந்தாரு, சசிகலாவோட கால் அப்படிதான் விழுந்து கிடந்தாரு. டேபிள் சார்க்கெல்லாம் உள்ள போட்டு விட்டுங்க, அந்த அம்மா கால் வழியும் போட்டுருப்பாரு. இப்போ
Ahead of the assembly polls in Tamil Nadu, swords have already been drawn between AIADMK and DMK. Days after DMK Youth Wing leader Udayanidhi Stalin's objectionable comments on Chief Minister Edapadi K. Palaniswamy triggered a controversy. DMK Chief MK Stalin's son has decided to brazen it out. Defiant over his remarks, Stalin Jr. waved a picture of Chief Minister EPS falling at Sasikala's feet to justify his previous comments.
யார் காலில் விழுந்து கிடக்குறாரு? இத சொன்னம்மா, இத சொன்ன, அதாவது டேபிள் சார் கடையில பூந்து டேபிள் கீழே தானே படுத்திருக்காரு. மூஞ்சி தெரியுதா உங்களுக்கு? மூஞ்சி தெரியுதா?
The Tamil Nadu CM hit back at Stalin Jr., blaming his upbringing for his comments.
In politics, no decent comments that should be welcomed. Indecent comments that should not be welcomed. Indecent fellows only commented like these indecent comments.
Former AIADMK leader and VK Sasikala's nephew, Jayanand Divakaran, also took strong exception. He has sent a legal notice to Udayanidhi Stalin and has sought an unconditional apology from him.
He has spoken, he has spoken ill about my aunt and Sasikala.
Okay.
In a public meeting.
Okay.
His statement is like, it was an unparliamentary statement which cannot be shared on any public platform.
In case he doesn't apologize because he has...
Then we'll be going to the court.
DMK's stinging attack on CM EPS came as he was unanimously chosen as the AIADMK's chief ministerial face for upcoming Tamil Nadu polls. The two parties have already squared off over alleged corruption charges, and now these personal attacks indicate the battle for the state will be a bitter one. Bureau Report, India Today.
In a big embarrassment to Pakistan, United States has called out Pakistan's sham conviction to globally designated terrorist Zakir-ur-Rahman Lakhvi, who has played an active role in terror outfit Lashkar-e-Taiba. US in a strong-worded statement said that mere 5-year jail term to Mumbai terror attack plotter Lakhvi is not enough, as his crimes go beyond just terror financing. The statement has added that Pakistan should also hold Lakhvi accountable for his involvement in the Mumbai terror attack. Remember, a Pakistan court sentenced Lakhvi to 5 years in jail for terror financing on Friday. Welcome back. Australia extended their dominance in the Sydney Test against India. The hosts are inching closer to the 300-plus lead. Steve Smith is still at the crease for Australia. The right-hander has brought up his 15 addition to 100 in first innings. Australia went on to lunch at 182 for 4 with a lead of 276. India picked 2 wickets in the first session. Navdeep backed both the wickets. First to well set Labuschagne for 73 and then Matthew for just 4 runs. In what has come as a shock, Indian pacers Mohammad Siraj and Jasprit Bumrah were abused racially by a section of the crowd at Sydney Cricket Ground on 2 consecutive days. The Indian team management has launched an official complaint before the match officials about Bumrah and Siraj being hurled racial abuses by crowd as the SC chief. At the end of the third day's play, senior players led by captain Ajinkya Rahane and Ashwin spoke to umpires Paul and Raphael and Paul Wilson and brought to their notice that the Indian players had been subjected to racial abuse.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.